Hello YouTube, this is Agent here, and I'm not going to do my introduction in the opening scene of that because I just want to get this out of the way as soon as possible. Just couldn't be bothered with the Dima anymore. I mean, I really admire them for holding off some time, and I really admire my clever tactics that have allowed them to survive for such a long time. But you know where I'm coming from. We've seen it all before, and we just want to go home. And etc. etc. Launch battle. What? Oh yeah, of course they had Echo already secured, didn't they? At the start of the last fight. Probably could have talked about that and led up to some huge dramatic tension, but no, they seem to have one Mi-24 that is now buggered off. Anti-climax. So anyway, here we go, another episode, another 20 minutes of nothing but maybe a few airstrikes and me wasting units. And everyone's time. That came off as a laugh. I apologize, I did not intend it to come off as a laugh. Well. I don't know why they were so aggressive in the last fight. But they were quite aggressive. So, there you go. I really hope they don't send any helicopters at us, because now I really don't have any anti-aircraft defense. These, oh well, and the wires, what's their range? It's 2,200 meters for an air unit. And their units have a much greater range than that, I can guarantee you. Luckily enough, I think these units are the ones that really have no morale. That's actually quite funny, but it's like if you had, say, if I was playing from their angle, okay, and I sent in my high initiative force and I beat them back to their home sector and secured all of this territory. But then then I had a low initiative group that didn't do so well and say like only managed to hold Halmstad and Kalmar. When I go back to the high initiative group again, everything that they've done has been reversed, so they're stuck in a trap, and over time they'll lower their initiative. So really, when you think about it, it sometimes makes sense to attack the enemy with just your good battle groups, because your weaker ones will hold you back and actually make it harder to win. Which doesn't actually make much sense when you think about it, like in terms of the idea of attacking with more is weaker than just attacking with one or two good units. But in terms of the campaign logic, it does make sense, but that's campaign logic. The campaign logic that says one tiny French Dima group can hold off 3 Soviet armies because they basically don't bother to attack, but then don't bother to retreat either. They just stand there looking at each other. Thanks to AI. Anyway, we're actually running short on VLRA because I keep putting them in this village, and whenever they inevitably attack through Echo, the no, not the VRLA, the VLRA usually take the brunt of the attack. But there we go. That's how war goes sometimes, especially with the Dima. Thing is, though, some people might not get the whole idea of me pre-recording videos and actually put in the comments of these videos You're boring, be more aggressive. Which is funny because one, it does make a blind bit of difference because by the time they've commented that, I've probably finished the campaign. And two, as I've said in pretty much every other video, if you're a mighties in this one battle, what would you do? Would you attack the enemy that are equipped with T-80s, a full complement of Air Force, Strela 10 missiles, a lot of infantry, T-80 command tanks? Would you attack them with a couple of tank destroyers that can't fire while moving, a handful of infantry, one jet, one tank that doesn't have a good gun, a couple of mortars and some really inaccurate proper artillery? Would you attack with this? And if so, do you honestly think that attack would go well for you? And the answer is no. An attack with the forces I have left would be complete suicide. So I'm forced to sit back here, but thanks to the fact that... Oh, okay, the soap bears are being killed. There's something in the forests. Not unsurprising, really. The fact that Echo was there at the start meant they could have deployed something in here. Oh well, I've lost 11 points. Let's try and get some recon. Some reconnaissance on the dense forest. Get the artillery ready, fire some shells into it. Come on, give me a correct shot. Let's see what this gun's... Well, this gun actually has quite a good minimal range. Look at that, only at 700. Sneak up here. I want to actually see what's in there. Pity this. Actually, to be fair, I actually prefer that the Super Entente Dart only has one missile, because that means once it's fired, it tries to get out of there as soon as possible. I like sort of like single strike units, a plane that can just go in, dump its load, and get out before it's killed. Planes like the American, the Fighting Falcon, that have like their anti-aircraft missiles and their various bombs. You know, they fire one, but then they hang around for too long, and I have to tell them to get out of there, and I might be too busy managing the battle to tell them to get out of there, and they don't get out of there, and they get killed. And you could blame me for that by not calling them in if I don't have the time to micromanage them, but what do you want me to do? I'm explaining why I prefer a particular type of unit. Those are my reasons. If you don't think they're good reasons, well, feel free to have different reasons. It's a free world. Well, not for the most part, but yeah. That's why we're fighting here, isn't it? To liberate wherever this is from the threat of evil communism. Oh well. Let's try and get a recon vehicle. Last episode had a relatively large amount of fighting in it, so I'm going to deploy this recon vehicle, see if I can spook any units at Kalmar to come and have a look around Echo. I'm pretty sure that in this time that I've been in these kind of like dull battles, not one enemy unit had entered Copenhagen. Be interesting to see. Because I mean, this area has seen a lot of history. Like I was at Copenhagen, and then I did my attack into Kalmar. Then I pushed them back into Halmstad. You know, I destroyed them all. Then they reinforced into Delta. Then I had no initiative, so they spawned all over the map. I managed to keep them there just. And then the 134th came into Kalmar again, and by that time I had no initiative, and that's where all these tiny nothing battles have broken out from. And I still haven't bought that Super Entente Dart. I'm gonna have to save up my points. It's actually interesting how in supply trucks now, if you look, you can tell it to like spare parts, which I'm guessing is fixed. Well, it's pretty obvious. I mean, it's then ammunition and fuel. So that's the FOB. That's it. And if unit gets hit, it won't be able to resupply. That's probably why none of my units were being resupplied in the heat of battle. Hello. MI-24V, I see. That's cool. Going to cover. Let's get the super Entente. Wish I had some AA infantry, but I don't. Where does the cover end? Let me select it. That'd be very sneaky. Let's see what's coming to BTR 70.